After the Bondi terrorist attack last month, with police alleging that both gunmen had pledged allegiance to Islamic State, the Australian media has made a concerted effort to paint Muslim Australians in a positive light. It seems like a desperate, if not vain, attempt to salvage the last remaining thread of social cohesion in multicultural Australia. The most prominent example of this is al-Ahmed, the 43-year-old father and tobacco shop owner who risked his life by tackling one of the gunmen and seizing his firearm. The ABC reported, Ahmed al-Ahmed has become a celebrity right across the Arab world, with people expressing both pride and relief that an Arab and a Muslim had shown bravery and compassion across religious and political divides. Just yesterday, The Guardian reported, crowd roars in standing ovation for Bondi hero Ahmed al-Ahmed at sold-out Ashes Test in Sydney. The point is, there are good Muslim people in Australia, and it's the media's job to make sure you know it. However, the ABC has had a bit of an ethical U-turn, suggesting that highlighting his faith is, in itself, a form of Islamophobia. I know. How do they explain this? In an article from their religion and ethics website titled Ahmed al-Ahmed, Moral Clarity and Media Bias, they write, the media's fixation on his Syrian and Muslim identity reveals an implicit bias that this kind of heroism, especially the kind that saves Jewish lives, is not to be expected from a Muslim. Headlines repeatedly framed him as a Muslim man who stopped a shooter, treating that identity as the headline and his bravery as a footnote. The Islamophobia implicit here does not lie in the praise, it lies in the assumption. The coverage assumes that a Muslim risking his life to save Jews defies expectation. When goodness from Muslims becomes newsworthy because of who they are, not what they do, the media confesses how low its baseline expectations have fallen. So according to the ABC, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. First, the media is praised for showing a good Muslim. Then they are told that showing a good Muslim is actually a sign of their own bias. But the focus of the media coverage quickly turned from Muslim heroes to Muslim victims. As I suggested earlier, the media's attempt to paint Muslims in a positive light has not seemed to work. The ABC reported recently, some Australian Muslims sleeping overnight in mosques after Bondi massacre, while The Guardian reported, Islamophobia has surged since the Bondi attack. But this article from last week is the one I'd like to focus on today, one that I brought up in a previous video, and one that many of you questioned. SBS published, I was called a dirty Muslim, fears of a surge in hate-driven incidents after Bondi attack. Basically, a young Muslim lady, a solicitor, was walking to work in Redfern when she was accosted by a group of teenage girls on bikes who allegedly threw eggs at her and called her a dirty Muslim. Because, you know, when I go riding my bike, I always make sure to bring a carton of eggs with me, just in case I run into a minority. Some of you questioned the veracity of this story, and I see where you're coming from. In a cost of living crisis, what teenagers are riding around on their bikes carrying expensive eggs? But let's give her the benefit of the doubt and assume what she said really happened. In the article, they interviewed the lady who said, she threw raw eggs at me. She said she was pelted with raw eggs by a group of girls riding on bikes, heading towards her on the footpath. One of the three came really close to me. I could touch her face. That's how close she was. She called me a dirty Muslim. She said some other things under her breath, but I didn't hear her. Dirty Muslim was what I heard. And then she threw raw eggs at me. So it sounds like she's not even 100% sure what the girl said. She continued, I heard 2 more eggs sort of crush on the floor because there was nobody between me and them. I'm assuming that those other 2 eggs were directed towards me. So again, she's assuming the eggs were directed at her. Look, I'm not saying they weren't, but it sounds like a lot of speculation. I did a bit of searching and found an interview with her on Instagram on the Stand for Palestine Australia group. In the interview, she explained that she got off at Redfern station to go to work and saw 3 girls on bikes riding towards her. They rode up really close. Without prompting, she said they were of mixed heritage, but I guess in an attempt to not seem racist herself, she corrected herself, saying they were mixed background Caucasian. I'm not sure what that's supposed to mean, but they certainly had Caucasian blood in them, damn it. For some reason, SBS didn't mention anything about them being of mixed background. She doubled down and said they threw raw eggs at her. The interviewer then rightly asked her where they got the eggs from. Did they get them from their bag or what? To which she replied, they were carrying it. Where they got it out from, I have absolutely no idea. The interviewer looks a bit puzzled, but she continues to tell him that eggs were thrown at her. She continued, as they were riding past, 2 of the other girls also threw eggs. So clearly these girls were lying in wait in the early morning at Redfern station, ready to ambush any Muslims walking past. She was extremely frustrated with the police for not initially treating it as seriously as she hoped, saying, "It's absolutely incompetence from the police." Actually, later in the interview, she didn't even blame the girls. She said, "I'm not even angry at the girls who did it because it is not their fault." Really? Them carrying around eggs and hurling them at Muslims is not their fault? Oh, do tell, whose fault is it? She said, I believe the fault lies with politicians such as Pauline Hanson, who have cultured, spread, and brewed this concept of Islamophobia. These are the people who are actually responsible. So it's got nothing to do with a couple of Islamist gunmen shooting innocent civilians from a bridge. It's not the girl's fault for actually, allegedly, throwing the eggs. No, of course not. It's Pauline Hanson who somehow convinced teenagers in Redfern, who have absolutely no interest in politics, to go around throwing costly eggs at innocent Muslim ladies walking to work in the morning. It turns out the media's concerted effort to foster social cohesion isn't just desperate, it's completely detached from reality.